That's when the sun actually gets below the horizon and it's able to kind of illuminate those clouds underneath them a little bit better. And we have some good mid to upper level clouds rolling through, so should be good for us if you want to check that out. We got time check 7:39, so I would say within the next 30 minutes or so, the sky should be lighting up pretty good. But I do want to also emphasize that this is our last week of 8 p.m. and later sunsets all the way until next April, believe it or not. So our days are getting shorter as we get close to the fall equinox. So by October 10th, we're looking at sunsets at 7 p.m. and then by November 5th, that's when we do fall back with the time. That's when those sunsets before 6 p.m. do work their way back in. So take advantage of the relatively longer days while we got them, because they're getting shorter pretty quick. Today we got to 96 degrees. It was a hot afternoon. Looking back to last week, remember we hit 97 last Monday and Tuesday. Those were the hottest 2 days of 2023. For tomorrow, we are going with a high of 99 degrees. If that does verify for us here in Augusta, that would be the hottest day so far for 2023. It looks like most spots in the region should be able to get at least up to 98, 99. There could even be a few spots that straight up get to 100 degrees. I will say, if there is any positive news to look at with this, luckily it is not very humid tomorrow. So our heat index is going to be a few degrees hotter than this actual temp, but luckily it's not going to be absurd. So our air temp should roughly feel like what our heat index is out there tomorrow. And then by Wednesday, we are bringing in a backdoor cold front. So this front will finally slowly sink further south, and that's going to push through by Wednesday. And we are going to see a much nicer day Wednesday with lower humidity and cooler temperatures. Until then, though, expect the heat to be with us all day long Tuesday. We do have heat advisories in effect for the western CSRA again. So heat index between 105 and 110. No rain or forecast tomorrow, so it is just going to be baking underneath that sun all day long. The backdoor cold front will show up Wednesday, though, so this front is going to bring us a lot lower humidity. It's going to also drop our temperature, so highs should be closer to 90 Wednesday compared to near 100 tomorrow, so about a 10-degree temperature drop there. And with that less humid air in place, by Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we could see some wake-up temperatures Thursday in the 60s, so that is something we have to look forward to as well this week. But Tuesday is definitely going to be much hotter than Wednesday, so kind of a little bit of a roller coaster ride with our temperatures, just intensely hot throughout the day tomorrow, but feeling much nicer as we head into the middle of the week. No real rain in our forecast for the rest of the work week, but by this weekend, another front will show up, and that will bring us a better opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday, even into early next week. It actually looks like next week we could do a complete flip-flop on our pattern. So the real highlight this week is just really hot temps, mostly dry conditions. Next week, we're going with cooler than average temperatures and high rain chances. So we're going to just do a pattern flip out there next week. Quick update on the tropics. We are getting close to the peak of hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. We now have Tropical Storm Franklin, Post-Tropical Storm Emily, and Tropical Depression Gert. None of these are really an interest to us here in the CSRA. These are going to stay over open waters for at least the next week and have no real impact to us here on the mainland. Now, we are keeping an eye on Tropical Depression 9. This is just below tropical storm strength, so in order to be a classified tropical storm, has to be a warm core low with winds sustained at least to 38 miles per hour or higher. So we're just not quite up to that threshold, but it's getting more organized. It's got a pretty good movement west at 18 miles an hour. So this is just going to keep that course. It's going to continue just towards southern Texas, most likely making landfall between Corpus Christi and Brownsville, bringing them heavy rain, some wind, maybe a little surge. Luckily, not expecting huge impacts from this system for them, but still could bring a lot of rainfall to deserts in Mexico and southern Texas. And anytime you got rain in the desert, you got some issues you're going to have to deal with. So they're preparing for that tomorrow. Here's a look at where we are on the name list. So our next named storm would be Harold. If that storm we were just looking at does become a tropical storm overnight, that would become Harold for us. And then we're just going to have to tick our way down the list as we do get into the peak of hurricane season. So expect a lot more names to come, since The latest update came out a couple weeks ago. Does show that we are expecting an above average season, just thanks to really very hot ocean temperatures in the Gulf and the southern Atlantic. So here's the way it, just looking at climatology, so you can see the peak of hurricane season, usually the first week of September. That's when we usually, historically speaking, that's when we usually see the most named storms. So we're kind of getting closer and closer to that peak, and then it really falls off once we get into October. Our atmosphere is cooling down and just really kind of preventing these storms from developing once we get past November. But a heads up, we got pretty prime time ocean temps across the region. You can see most of our buoy temps are in the 80s, and I'm not sure why about 80% of those decide to go out as soon as I showed that graphic. But it's hot. The Gulf of Mexico currently in the upper 80s for most spots there. Here's our 7-day forecast. Remember, intensely hot Tuesday. We'll drop off those temperatures Wednesday. Thursday morning should feel really good. 67 is kind of conservative with some of the models I'm looking at. Some of the models are showing low temps down to near the upper 50s waking up Thursday morning. I'm not quite ready to go that low, but this could change. So keep it here for the forecast the next couple of days. Looks like we are going to see some pretty nice weather Wednesday, Thursday, and then into the weekend. You can see we're really hot again Saturday. Those chance for storms will be with us. Our next front will push through Saturday into Sunday, and that's where our next big temperature drop comes into play Sunday. But those storm chances will be going up as well. So we're going to have to monitor that risk once we get past the heat. But hopefully you had a great start to the work week. I'll leave you with this, another quick look at our Beech Island cam. Remember, should be a pretty good sunset out there tonight. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you again on News 12 at 11.